It's Thursday, the 21st of March. Hello, kia ora. I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us as we take a look at the weather around New Zealand over the next week or so. And we've got a Southern Ocean storm next week that's going to drive in strong winds and also a temperature drop for some in the south. Let's have a look at the animated map for later on today, Thursday. We've got this low offshore to the east, far enough away to not cause any issues, but a southeasterly flow over the Chatham Islands. And then it comes into about Mahia Peninsula, Gisborne area and East Cape, where it turns into a southerly, moves away. High pressure out here to the south or southeast lines up with the North Island. So that's why lighter winds and certainly a colder start today. But the northerly flow comes in across this afternoon. And in fact, notice the orange shading through the eastern side of the South Island and the interior of the North Island. That's a sign of warmer winds coming through. Certainly for the South Island, that nor'wester. Over in Australia, though, the airflow off the sea makes eastern areas a little cooler, and you've got to go inland there as well to find the warmth. So taking a look at that high pressure zone, the one that's over the North Island here, well, it fades away. This is Thursday night. Let's go for the next 48 hours. Moves off the North Island, and in comes this very weak low, which drives in a little bit of rain and showery activity. It's not a huge amount, and for the regions that need it the most, like Marlborough, for example, and Wairarapa, you may not get a huge amount as that crosses over you. There's a bit of cloud behind it, a few showers as well, but nothing too major in the mix. So rainfall-wise, over the next couple of days, this is how it lines up. Around the northwestern side of the South Island, unfortunately, Marlborough now looking even drier. So is Wellington and Wairarapa. That low just looks like it sort of bunny hops over you a wee bit. So that's a shame because we really were hoping that could bring in a little bit of wet weather for you. So just to be clear, you may still get a little bit. It's a hard, messy system to lock in totally. But it's pretty obvious from the map here that most of the wet weather is from Waikato, Waitomo, southwards to about Nelson, Farewell, Spit area, and just a few showers elsewhere. All right, Friday, it looks like this. There is the low. So yesterday, the map showed that low a little further inland. That's the only difference between what we saw yesterday and what we're seeing now. The high pressure belt out over this area, kind of helping to keep that low out to sea. And because there's high pressure all, further to the west as well, kind of means that that system doesn't really have a great lot of room to expand and grow on because the high pressure zones are kind of pushing back against it, trying to smother it. So let's have a look at the temperatures now. Certainly was a cooler morning this morning, but this evening, what you're seeing is most places are about normal for this time of the year, if not anything, leaning slightly warmer than average. Let's have a look at the next 48 hours, and you see some cooler weather coming in around the North Island with the lighter winds at the moment. But look, for the most part, a lot of yellow in the map, and these blue areas are sort of higher up inland. So for the most part, most places are still leaning a degree or two warmer than average, even with the colder change that we've seen coming through this week. So let's get into Saturday. Cooler on Saturday because there is more of a southerly flow. The modelling is placing the low pressure zone just to the west of Waikato, Waitomo and Taranaki. That's the reason why we're not seeing as much wet weather now further around the upper South Island. Not to say that it's not going to happen, but the modelling and the data suggest there's not much coming for the top northeastern corner, Wairarapa area, Marlborough up towards Wairarapa area. But look, you can see some wet weather here. The pale blue means it's just a few showers. And then yes, there's another cold front coming in later in the day for the lower South Island. It is not much. So by Sunday, that's when the storm in the Southern Ocean starts to wake up and roars on by. That means that with high pressure up here, it puts a squash zone into these windy westerlies, and they start to pick up around the lower South Island on Sunday. They may not really surge northwards until overnight or even getting into Monday. By the time we get to Monday, though, that windier weather by lunchtime all the way up to about Auckland. It's not going to be too blustery in Auckland, but you get the idea that the westerlies are kicking back in again. So Wellington, Wairarapa, Marlborough Sounds, those areas are going to be pretty blustery, as will Tasmania, Bass Strait, coastal parts of Victoria. Now by Tuesday, not a great deal of change. The storm still south of us, the windy westerlies still coming in across us. Most of the showers are on the west and the southwestern sides. So Fiordland and Westland, those are the areas that get most of the wet weather, not the places like Nelson and Marlborough and Wairarapa. Or further to the north, I'm sort of forgetting Northland. It's also very dry up in Northland. And again, this weather pattern with high pressure parked just to the north of you means that most of those places do stay fairly dry. Here on Wednesday, you do see the chance of some wet weather coming in around the Marlborough area. Go into our new app or our rural weather website to kind of lock that in a bit more for you. There is a chance in there that the winds just might turn around a little bit easterly, could drive in some wet weather, but this far out, I wouldn't be getting too excited about it. It's just a possibility here. And yes, that's the next big high, rolling in behind it all. That is all from me for today. Back again tomorrow, Friday, with the next update. And of course, today we've also got our 7-day Australia-only forecast that's coming out this afternoon. We'll see you later on.